Jaren wiped the grease from his hands and leaned back against the workbench. The hangar was quiet except for the hum of the old generators and the occasional clang of metal. On this remote mining station few visitors came and even fewer stayed. But tonight, a rumor had reached his ears that made his curiosity impossible to ignore. An alien creature, a dragon of unusual size and color, had been spotted nearby, injured and blind. Most people avoided it. Fear ran deep in this part of the galaxy. Legend spoke of dragons as deadly, intelligent hunters, able to crush entire machines or even ships with a swipe of their claws. No one dared approach, yet Jaren's hands itched for a different challenge. He had always loved repairing and improving machines, but helping a living creature, especially one so feared, was a new kind of challenge. He grabbed a flashlight and a worn tool bag, checking the low-power scanners on his wrist. The creature had been hiding in the wreckage of an old supply freighter on the edge of the landing platform. Its body was covered in deep purple scales, cracked and dulled from injury. Even from a distance, Jaren could see the glint of its eyes, clouded over and opaque. It moved with caution, each step calculated, searching the space with senses beyond human comprehension. Jaren approached slowly, his hands empty to show no threat. "I'm not here to hurt you," he said softly. The dragon paused, tilting its head as if considering him, then stepped back cautiously. Its wings twitched, sending a shadow over the metallic floor. He noticed the faint scar running along its snout and the way it sniffed the air, relying on other senses since its vision was gone. Carefully, Jaren lowered himself to one knee, keeping his movements slow and deliberate. He reached into his bag and pulled out a small device he had been tinkering with for weeks, a visor designed to enhance visual input. It had sensors, lenses, and circuits that could analyze light patterns and translate them into images the dragon could process. It was not perfect, but it was the best he could make with the station's limited parts. "Trust me," he whispered, though he wasn't sure the dragon would understand. The creature shifted, letting out a low, rumbling sound that vibrated in the floor. Jaren read it as caution, not aggression. Slowly he extended the visor, holding it out like an offering. The dragon sniffed, its large head lowering to inspect him. Its breath was warm, filled with a musky scent that made Jaren's eyes water slightly. He kept still, steadying his hands. After what felt like hours but was likely only minutes, the dragon allowed him to bring the visor closer. Jaren gently fitted the device over its eyes, adjusting the straps to rest comfortably on its head. Immediately, the dragon paused, tilting its head as light and shapes began to register. Its pupils widened as if drinking in a world it had forgotten. Jaren watched in awe as the creature's gaze became focused, scanning the hangar and its surroundings with a newfound clarity. "You can see," he said, unable to hide the smile spreading across his face. The dragon blinked slowly, processing the information, then looked directly at him. There was no fear in those eyes, only awareness and a strange recognition. Jaren felt a shiver run down his spine. For the first time he realized the creature was not just an animal or a legend. It was intelligent, calculating, and aware of the world around it. The dragon took a few careful steps, testing its vision. The floor was scratched, the old containers and spare parts casting strange shadows. Yet it moved confidently now, nudging a crate with its snout and then stepping back to observe. Jaren followed, keeping his distance, marveling at the precision of its movements. The visor had worked better than he had hoped. "Not bad for a human device," he muttered, and the dragon's head tilted slightly as if acknowledging the compliment. He laughed softly. It was a moment of connection, fragile but real. He realized that despite centuries of fear and isolation, this creature could still form bonds, if only someone was brave enough to reach out. Jaren spent the next few hours cleaning its wounds with sterile gel and improvised bandages, all while the dragon remained calm, trusting him more with each careful motion. He talked to it, describing the station, the hangar, and even the stars beyond. He wasn't sure if it understood his words, but the rhythm of his voice seemed to soothe the dragon. Its deep rumble grew softer, almost like a purr as he worked. By the time he finished, the first faint lights of the station's sunrise began to glow outside the hangar. The dragon lowered itself onto its front legs, resting, its head close to Jaren's knees. For a long moment they simply sat together. Jaren could feel the steady rise and fall of the dragon's chest and the warmth of its presence. He realized that this creature, feared across the galaxy, had just allowed him, a human, to care for it. As he packed away his tools he noticed something unexpected. The dragon's tail flicked once, then twice as if pointing toward the horizon. Jaren followed the gesture with his eyes and froze. In the distance, faint shapes moved through the sky, massive silhouettes against the stars. He didn't know what they were yet, but he had the uneasy feeling that the dragon's awareness had sensed them first. The moment of calm was over. What he had started as a simple act of kindness, repairing a visor for a blind dragon, was about to draw attention from far beyond the mining station. Jaren felt a mix of excitement and fear. He had no idea that this single night, this single decision, would soon change the fate of the station, the dragon, and perhaps the galaxy itself. The dragon rose slowly, moving closer to Jaren and nudging him gently with its head. He understood the gesture. It was trust and maybe even gratitude. He patted its snout softly. "We'll face whatever comes together," he said quietly. The dragon tilted its head and let out a soft, resonant hum that echoed in the hangar. And somewhere in the depths of space, beyond the station and its quiet planet, signals began to stir. Ships were moving. Eyes were watching. Jaren didn't know it yet, but the galaxy had noticed the dragon again, and they would not ignore it, or him, for long. Days passed after Jaren had fitted the visor on the dragon. The creature grew stronger and more confident, testing its wings and moving with a grace that surprised everyone who caught a glimpse. Jaren spent every free moment observing it, repairing its armor plates and keeping the hangar clear of debris. He still didn't know its full story or where it had come from, but he could feel a connection growing, as if the dragon trusted him like no one else ever had. The station felt quiet at first, but strange signs began to appear. Communication screens flickered unexpectedly, showing distorted signals from the outer sectors. Sensors picked up unknown energy signatures near the edge of the system. Jaren ignored these at first, assuming it was interference from old satellites and mining drones. Yet the dragon's behavior suggested otherwise. Its ears twitched at every hum of the generators, and it would grow tense, sniffing the air, staring into the distance even when there seemed to be nothing. One evening, as Jaren polished the dragon's scales, a sharp vibration ran through the hangar floor. The dragon's head lifted instantly and it growled, a deep, low sound that rattled the walls. Jaren froze, looking toward the observation windows. There, glinting against the dark sky of space, were 4 massive shapes, moving with precision in the orbit above the station. 4 space cruisers, sleek and armed, had appeared without warning. Their presence was overwhelming, their power obvious, and for the first time, Jaren felt a fear he hadn't known in weeks. The dragon stepped between Jaren and the window, lowering its head protectively. Its wings twitched and the visor's glow intensified, reflecting its heightened senses. It was clear that it had recognized the cruisers before Jaren even understood what was happening. The creature's instincts were far sharper than any human sensors could detect. The cruisers sent a hail immediately. A booming voice echoed across the station's speakers, alien yet formal. "Identify yourselves. State your purpose and explain your interference with the property of the draconic sovereignty." Jaren swallowed hard. He had no idea what they meant by draconic sovereignty, only that they were talking about the dragon he had just helped. His mind raced. Should he hide? Should he run? But the dragon nudged him gently, almost urging him forward. It seemed to communicate silently. They needed him and he could not escape responsibility now. Taking a deep breath, Jaren activated the station's communications console. "This is Jaren Voss, mechanic at Outpost Zeta 12. I've been caring for this creature. I didn't know who it belonged to. I meant no harm." The response was immediate. The cruiser's captain's image appeared on the main screen, a tall, stern figure with emerald skin and angular features, eyes sharp and piercing. Behind the captain, the silhouettes of several officers were visible, each observing the dragon with caution. "You have interfered with a member of our species without authorization," the captain said. "Explain your actions." Jaren swallowed again, glancing at the dragon. Its gaze met his, calm but expectant. "I saw it was blind and injured," he said honestly. "I made a visor to help it see. I wanted to heal it, not hurt it. I didn't know it was yours." The dragon shifted, rubbing its head against Jaren's arm, reinforcing his words in a silent way only these beings could understand. The captain's expression softened slightly, though his voice remained firm. "Few humans act out of compassion alone. Most fear us or seek to exploit. You may have acted with the right intentions, but the consequences of aiding a sovereign creature are significant." Jaren felt his stomach tighten. He had never thought about consequences beyond the hangar walls, yet here they were, and they were massive. The dragon made a low hum, almost a purr, stepping closer to Jaren. The cruisers seemed to notice this too. Their stance changed, they were alert but curious. The captain nodded slowly, as if reading something in the dragon's gestures that humans could not understand. Your actions have drawn attention from systems far beyond this sector, the captain said. We must assess the situation. You will remain under observation until trust can be determined. Jaren nodded, trying to appear calm while fear ran through him. The dragon leaned against him, reassuring him silently. He realized that his decision to help it had set off a chain of events he could never have imagined. One simple act of kindness had triggered attention from powerful beings, and now the entire station, and perhaps even the surrounding systems, was under scrutiny. For the next several hours, the cruisers scanned the station, observing Jaren and the dragon. They monitored everything, the repairs he made, the way he fed and cared for the dragon, and the interactions between them. Jaren worked diligently, trying to show that his intentions were honest. The dragon, too, remained calm, moving in a way that displayed trust rather than fear. Slowly, the cruisers began to recognize what Jaren had known all along. This was no ordinary human, and this was no ordinary dragon. Late that night, Jaren sat beside the dragon in the quiet hangar. The stars outside the observation windows glimmered softly, and the cruiser's lights reflected off the dragon's polished scales. I didn't mean to cause trouble, he whispered. The dragon nuzzled him gently as if replying, it's not trouble, it's destiny. Jaren knew that the next days would be filled with challenges. The cruisers would want answers. The dragon species would want assurance. And he would have to navigate diplomacy, danger, and trust, all while maintaining the bond he had formed with the creature. He stood and began checking the station systems, making sure everything was ready. The dragon followed, its wings folding neatly against its sides, its visor glowing softly in the dim light. Jaren realized that whatever came next, he would not face it alone. The dragon was no longer just a creature he had helped. It was an ally, intelligent and perceptive, ready to guide him through the unseen consequences of his actions. Outside the hangar, the cruisers lingered, silent and powerful. Their presence reminded Jaren of the vastness of the galaxy and the weight of his decisions. Yet he felt a growing determination. Fear might have brought hesitation at first, but compassion had created an unexpected opportunity. And now he would see it through whatever it took. In the quiet moments before sleep, Jaren looked at the dragon and whispered, "We're in this together. No matter what happens, we face it as one." The dragon's eyes glowed, reflecting both intelligence and trust. And somewhere far beyond the station, signals continued to stir, their intent unknown, but their attention fixed firmly on the blind dragon and the human who had dared to help it. The consequences were unseen, but Jaren knew they would arrive soon. And when they did, he and the dragon would be ready. Jaren woke to the hum of the station's main engines, the dragon lying close by, its visor softly glowing. Outside, the four massive cruisers remained in orbit, casting long shadows across the hangar. He knew today would be different. The alien captain had sent a message that a delegation would arrive to speak directly with him and the dragon. The thought filled him with both dread and curiosity. He had never faced beings so powerful, yet the dragon's calm presence reminded him that he was not alone. As he prepared the hangar for the meeting, the dragon moved silently, stepping around him without knocking over a single tool. Jaren watched its movements, realizing how much it had learned in just a few days. It was cautious yet confident, aware of its surroundings, and intelligent enough to understand the gravity of the situation. He wondered how the cruisers would react when they saw its behavior up close. The hatch to the station opened with a hiss, and the delegation entered. 4 aliens stepped inside, clad in uniforms of deep metallic green with insignias he had never seen before. Their skin shimmered under the station lights, and their eyes, sharp and piercing, scanned every corner of the hangar. They stopped a few meters from the dragon and Jaren, forming a careful circle. One of them, taller than the rest with glowing emerald eyes, stepped forward. The captain. His gaze fell on the dragon, which remained still but watchful. The dragon let out a low, resonant hum, and Jaren felt the vibrations through the floor. He realized the creature was communicating with them in a way humans could barely understand. The captain spoke, his voice firm but not unkind. "We have monitored your actions. Humans rarely show patience or care toward members of our species. Explain your reasoning for aiding this creature." Jaren swallowed hard and stepped forward. I didn't know who it was. I only saw that it was injured and blind. I couldn't leave it alone. I made a visor to help it see." The captain studied him, then looked to the dragon. The creature slowly lowered its head and then nudged Jaren gently. The aliens whispered among themselves, their language strange and harsh, but Jaren could sense a shift. They were no longer tense. Curiosity replaced suspicion. "Your actions were unusual," the captain continued. Compassion without understanding of the consequences is rare among humans. But this one, he gestured toward the dragon, has chosen to show us that you can be trusted. It will explain in its own way. Jaren blinked in surprise. The dragon stepped forward, raising its head high. Its eyes glowed brighter as the visor transmitted signals that the aliens could interpret. The dragon's body language, the gentle flick of its tail, the careful way it moved, all spoke to the delegation. It showed them that Jaren had acted with care and intention, not recklessness. The captain nodded slowly, clearly impressed. The other members of the delegation stepped closer, observing Jaren's movements and his interaction with the dragon. They watched as he cleaned its scales, adjusted the visor, and spoke softly. It was clear to them that this human had a bond with the creature, a bond built on trust, patience, and understanding. One of the aliens, a smaller being with golden eyes, spoke through a translator device. "We have studied your kind. Most humans act out of fear or ambition. This one," they glanced at Jaren, "shows empathy, a quality our species has rarely seen from humans. You have been chosen, whether you understand it or not, to represent your kind in this moment." Jaren felt a mix of pride and fear. Represent his kind? He was just a mechanic, not a diplomat or a warrior. But the dragon nudged him again as if to say, "You are ready." He realized that the creature had made the decision for him, and now he had to face it with courage. The captain's eyes softened further. "We will not attack your station today. We wish to observe, to understand the human who helped one of us. If you continue to act with integrity, your actions may shape the future of human and draconic relations." Jaren nodded, bowing slightly. "I will do my best." The dragon moved closer, resting its head lightly against his shoulder. He could feel the warmth, the weight, and the reassurance of its presence. Together they were more than a human and a dragon. They were a team. Over the next several hours the delegation asked questions. They inquired about the dragon's condition, its reactions to the visor, and Jaren's intentions. Each answer he gave was honest and careful. The dragon demonstrated its improved vision and the way it now navigated the hangar with precision. The aliens watched, noting every detail. Jaren realized that this was more than a meeting, it was a test of character, a trial to see if humans could act with both courage and compassion in a galaxy that often rewarded neither. Finally, the captain addressed them again. "You have proven, through actions rather than words, that trust can exist between species. The dragon has chosen to advocate for you. We will consider your cooperation as a basis for further contact. But know this, our attention will not fade. Your actions have set in motion events that may alter the balance of power in multiple systems. Choose wisely." Jaren swallowed hard. He had never imagined that helping a blind dragon could carry such weight. Yet he felt ready. The dragon's presence beside him was a reminder that courage and empathy were powerful tools, stronger than any weapon or shield. As the delegation prepared to leave, the captain paused. "Remember, human, the future depends not only on strength but also on the choices you make. You and the dragon have the potential to change more than just this station." With that, they left the hangar, their steps silent but their message clear. The galaxy was watching and it was waiting. Jaren exhaled, feeling a mixture of relief and anticipation. He turned to the dragon, who tilted its head, eyes glowing softly. He patted its snout. "We've done well," he said quietly. The dragon hummed in response, a sound that resonated through the hangar like a gentle drumbeat, echoing trust and reassurance. For the first time, Jaren understood the true power of what he had done. This dragon, once blind and alone, had not only regained its vision but had also become his partner in a game far larger than either of them could imagine. Together, they would navigate the attention of the galaxy, the expectations of the dragon species, and the unseen challenges that awaited them in the days ahead. And as the sun rose over the station, casting long shadows across the metal floor, Jaren knew one thing with certainty. His life had changed forever. The blind dragon was no longer just a creature in need, it was a teacher, a guide, and a friend. And with it by his side, he felt ready to face whatever consequences the universe had in store. The hangar was quiet, but tension lingered in the air. Jaren could feel it as he worked, checking the dragon's visor and repairing its small armor plates. The cruiser delegation had left earlier, but their words haunted him. They had spoken of trust, responsibility, and consequences. And now he realized the test had only begun. A sudden alarm rang through the station. Red lights flashed across the walls. Jaren jumped to his feet, the dragon stirring beside him. Its ears twitched, scanning the area. "Something's coming," Jaren whispered, his hands shaking slightly as he activated the station's sensors. Outside, the monitors showed multiple incoming craft, fast, small ships moving with precision. They were clearly hostile, armed and targeting the station. The cruisers had not attacked, but these intruders were different. Jaren's stomach sank. He had expected a challenge, but this was real danger. The dragon stepped forward, wings folding neatly but ready to spring. Its eyes glowed through the visor, analyzing the approaching ships. Jaren could see the calculations it made, the angles of attack, the safest paths. Somehow, the dragon had learned from the human technology and its own instincts combined. Jaren grabbed a console and activated the station's defensive turrets, but he knew they wouldn't hold long against a coordinated strike. He turned to the dragon. "We have to act fast. Trust me and I'll trust you." The dragon tilted its head, understanding the words as if it spoke human fluently through its gestures. The first ship fired, sending a pulse that shook the hangar. Sparks flew across the metal floor. Jaren ducked, pulling a lever to adjust the shield generators. The dragon roared, leaping forward, its claws scraping across the floor as it moved to block the next strike. It was fast, precise, and intelligent, avoiding the blasts while positioning itself to counterattack. Jaren realized the dragon was not just following instincts. It was thinking strategically, protecting him while attacking where it could. The bond they had formed over days of care and attention now became a force stronger than either could have anticipated. They moved as one. Jaren controlled the station defenses, predicting enemy maneuvers, while the dragon moved with grace, intercepting what the turrets could not reach. One of the intruders breached the outer shield, heading straight for the hangar. Jaren's hands trembled as he activated the emergency protocols. The dragon stepped in front of the breach, wings spreading wide to block the doorway. Its roar filled the hangar, a sound so deep and powerful that the intruding ship faltered mid-flight. Jaren saw the shield flicker under the strain, but the dragon remained steady, holding its position with incredible strength. The intruders regrouped, firing coordinated pulses, trying to overwhelm them. Jaren realized that only a combination of human strategy and the dragon's instincts could save the station. He gave quick commands, rerouting power to the shields, adjusting turret angles and predicting enemy movement. The dragon responded instantly, shifting its weight, snapping at the incoming pulses, and even using its tail to push debris toward the ships, blocking some attacks. Minutes passed like hours. The hangar shook, sparks flew, and alarms screamed. Yet Jaren and the dragon continued to move together, a synchronized team against impossible odds. He realized then what the delegation had meant by trust. It wasn't just about honesty or intention. It was about relying on each other completely, even when the stakes were life and death. Finally, the dragon let out a deep, resounding roar, sending a shockwave through the hangar. The intruding ships wobbled, struggling to maintain control. Jaren saw his chance. He triggered a focused pulse from the station's core, sending a concentrated energy beam toward the ships. The beam hit perfectly, disabling their engines without destroying them. They spun out of control and fled into the void. Silence fell over the hangar. The red lights dimmed, the alarms stopped, and only the hum of the station remained. Jaren leaned against the console, breathing heavily. The dragon lowered its head, exhausted but unharmed, and nudged him gently. He smiled, patting its snout. "We did it, together." For a moment, Jaren realized what had happened. The test of trust was not a lecture or a delegation, it was a trial by fire. The galaxy had sent a challenge, measuring their bond, their courage, and their ability to act as one. And they had passed. The dragon's loyalty, intelligence, and instincts combined with Jaren's quick thinking had turned a dire situation into a victory. As they both caught their breath, the station's communication panel beeped. The alien delegation returned on screen. The captain's face appeared, this time with a faint smile. "You have proven yourselves. Trust is not given lightly. You and the dragon have earned our respect. The test is complete, but remember, vigilance is eternal. The galaxy will always watch, and your bond may be called upon again." Jaren nodded, exhausted but proud. He glanced at the dragon, which seemed to understand the meaning of the captain's words. Together they had survived. Together they had demonstrated what humans and dragons could achieve when working as a single unit. The rest of the day was spent repairing minor damage to the hangar, checking the dragon's equipment and reinforcing shields. The intruders had left, but their presence was a warning. The galaxy was not passive. Threats would continue to come, and the bond between Jaren and the dragon would be tested again. That evening, as the sun cast its glow over the station, Jaren sat beside the dragon. The visor reflected the light softly, and the dragon's tail wrapped around him in a protective gesture. He realized something profound. This creature, once blind and alone, had become a partner in every sense. Their trust had been tested, and they had proven that compassion, courage, and cooperation could overcome even the most impossible threats. Jaren whispered, "Whatever comes next, we'll face it together." The dragon hummed, a sound that resonated through the hangar and into Jaren's chest. It was more than gratitude, it was understanding, affirmation, and readiness for the challenges that lay ahead. As stars twinkled beyond the station, distant signals hinted at more eyes watching them, more tests yet to come. But Jaren no longer feared the unknown. With the dragon at his side, trust had become their greatest weapon, and together they could face anything. The station was calm in the early morning, a rare quiet after the chaos of the previous day. Jaren moved through the hangar, checking systems and making minor repairs. The dragon followed closely, its wings folding neatly at its sides. The visor still glowed softly, and Jaren could see the creature scanning the environment, alert but relaxed. They had survived the test, but he knew their journey was far from over. A message came through the communications panel. It was the captain of the alien delegation. The screen flickered to life, showing the stern emerald-eyed face he had come to recognize. "You have demonstrated courage, loyalty, and intelligence beyond what we expected," the captain said. "Your actions have earned more than respect. They have opened the possibility for cooperation between your kind and ours. We propose a formal partnership." Jaren felt his heart pound. Partnership? He had never thought his simple act of kindness could lead to anything so significant. He glanced at the dragon, which tilted its head toward him, eyes glowing softly as if saying, "We can do this." The captain continued, "This station will serve as a joint outpost. You and the dragon will be ambassadors of trust, representing both species in a galaxy filled with potential conflict. Your bond has proven that understanding can exist even between very different beings." Jaren nodded slowly. I will do my best," he said. He was a mechanic, not a diplomat, but the responsibility felt right. He understood that this partnership was not just about politics, it was about showing what humans and dragons could achieve together. Over the next few days, preparations began. The station was upgraded to accommodate both human and draconic needs. New technology from the alien cruisers was installed, blending their advanced systems with human ingenuity. The dragon adapted quickly, testing every new device, exploring each chamber, and even learning to interface with some of the alien consoles using its visor. Jaren worked beside it, teaching and learning simultaneously. They had developed an unspoken language of gestures and actions that allowed them to operate with precision. Their teamwork was seamless, a combination of human intuition and draconic instinct. Every time the dragon nudged him or adjusted its position, Jaren understood immediately. Every command he gave, the dragon anticipated. It was as if they had become one mind in two bodies. Then came the first delegation. Representatives from nearby systems arrived, curious about the unusual partnership. They watched as Jaren and the dragon worked together to stabilize the station's energy cores, demonstrating both skill and cooperation. The visitors were amazed, not just at the dragon's intelligence or strength, but at the trust between the human and the creature. Whispers of admiration filled the observation halls. One of the alien visitors approached Jaren. "You have done what few could," they said, voice measured. "Most humans would fear the dragon, most dragons would attack the human. But you have shown that understanding and partnership are possible. The galaxy will take notice." Jaren felt pride swell inside him. For once, he realized that his choices mattered in a way larger than himself. The dragon stepped forward, raising its head and letting the visor glow brighter. It made a series of low hums that Jaren translated loosely. "We are ready. We will protect each other in this station. We will show the universe what we can do together." The visitors watched in awe, realizing that this partnership was more than symbolic, it was practical, strong, and alive. Weeks passed. The station became a hub for communication, trade, and diplomacy between species that had previously feared each other. Jaren and the dragon traveled together, attending meetings, overseeing negotiations, and demonstrating their unique abilities. They became a living example that trust, compassion, and teamwork could achieve what weapons alone could not. One evening, as Jaren and the dragon stood at the observation deck, looking out at the stars, he reflected on how far they had come. "I never imagined helping you could change so much," he said quietly. The dragon's eyes glowed softly, and it nudged him gently, responding in its own way. "You were brave. You acted without thinking of reward. That is what changed everything." Jaren smiled. He realized that the dragon had taught him as much as he had helped it. He had learned patience, understanding, and the power of working together across differences. And now, their partnership had the potential to influence the galaxy itself. The alien captain's voice echoed in his mind through a recent communication. Your actions will be remembered. Your bond may serve as a model for generations. Jaren knew it was true. Humans often thought themselves small and powerless, but he now understood that even small acts, compassion, courage, and trust, could ripple across stars, changing the course of history. The dragon shifted beside him, wings stretching wide, and the visor casting a warm glow over both of them. Jaren reached out, placing a hand on its snout. We've come a long way, he said. The dragon hummed, a sound that resonated through the deck and into the human's chest. It was agreement, reassurance, and the promise of more adventures to come. Outside, distant lights flickered across the starfield. New ships approached, some curious, some cautious. But Jaren no longer felt fear. He knew that together with the dragon they could meet any challenge. The galaxy was vast, full of unknowns, but their partnership was strong. They would face threats, negotiate peace, and build alliances, all as one team. In that quiet moment, Jaren realized that the galaxy had offered them a choice: to fight, to hide, or to trust. They had chosen trust, and that choice had led to something far greater than either could have imagined. A new chapter was beginning, not just for him or the dragon, but for the connection between humans and the stars themselves. And so, standing side by side, the human and the dragon prepared for the future. The visor's glow reflected on Jaren's face, mirroring his determination. The dragon's wings stretched toward the ceiling, a symbol of power and freedom. Together, they were ready to navigate the challenges ahead, to inspire allies, and to show that courage and compassion could create a partnership stronger than any weapon. The galaxy was watching, but Jaren knew one thing for certain. Whatever came next, they would face it together, not as master and creature, but as equals, partners, and friends.